$1,971 with 0 clicks to my website? Wait a minute, how does this even work? Well, friends, I'm glad you asked, because the SEO business is about to change big time, as if it hasn't already changed enough. And this is the introduction of what Cloudflare just did last week, where they completely changed the game, saying that now AI is going to have to pay to crawl your website, meaning you can actually get money without any visitors, no one clicking on your ads, no affiliate offers. Yeah, pretty much every time your content pops up on an AI search engine. More about this in just a minute, because I think that this Cloudflare announcement introduces a giant opportunity for those making content and helping people with SEO, which is actually a lot easier than you might think. Most people take SEO, which is the art of showing up at the top of Google or other search engines, and overcomplicate it like crazy. They have all these magic rituals and crazy tactics and methods and different things like that, where it actually boils down to having good content that people actually want to read. And a couple other secret things. More about those in just a second, because what we want to do is look at the state of digital publishing. Some people are saying that SEO is dead, out, gone, and will never be the same again. However, I think SEO is changing in a way that's going to benefit the viewer more than ever before. And those who understand what I'm going to share in this video are going to be poised to make a lot of money. And I'm going to get into exactly how, and I'm actually going to share some free tools that I created for you that you can use to make this process even easier. But how do I even know what I'm talking about? I'm glad you asked. And I'm going to prove that to you in just a second and show you exactly how I can help you make money. But first, a story. I first started as an SEO person back in the year 1999, before Google was even popular, before YouTube and many other sites that we now know and use on a daily basis even existed. And back then, things were a lot more difficult, but also more easy. Wait, what do I mean by that? Well, it was more difficult in the sense that it took forever for our sites to get picked up. Not like today, where you could post a WordPress post and literally get picked up in the search engines and get traffic instantly. Back then, we had to wait forever. But on the flip side, you could pretty much rank anything as long as your title had the keyword in it. It was very, very easy. This went on till about 2003, when Google first started announcing their helpful content type updates. These were known as Panda and Penguin and all these other things that basically took people who were making millions with SEO and obliterated them overnight. Traffic gone, rankings gone, income down the toilet. And a lot of people were wondering, what's going on here? Enter the rise of the SEO guru. These were the magic seers that promised to show you exactly what the search engines wanted so you could get your traffic back and make money. I even paid one of these guys like $10,000 and pretty much got nothing in return. That was a lesson I had to learn the hard way. But over the years, I've learned exactly what SEO wants, what Google wants, how to get traffic to our website, and how to make money. And I'll never forget what happened in December of 2022 when ChatGPT came on the scene. Everyone was touting that SEO was dead, much like back in 2012 when they said SEO was dead. Yet again, here they were 10 years later saying the exact same thing. And I got a little worried. Was AI going to take my job? Was it going to make it so publishers couldn't make money anymore? What was a blog publisher to do, and how do we survive in this new world? Well, actually, AI was better than anything for my business, and it made it even bigger. And it could do the same for you if used correctly. But unfortunately, you have people all over the world using AI in a malicious way where they're going out there and making mass-produced content that isn't focused on helping anyone. It's just over-glorified clickbait that nobody wants to read. But unfortunately, some of it does actually rank. So the question is, what are you to do? If you want to be a publisher, a content producer, or a blogger, how are you going to get ahead with AI, get ranked in AI and in regular Google, and actually start making money? Well, that's what this video is about. So if you're excited, smash the like button. Let's talk about AI SEO and how to make money. Come on, let's go to work. So today we have a lot to go through. This idea of zero-click SEO is something that's gaining a lot of traction, but you need to pay close attention because a lot of people are saying one thing or another thing, or it's the end of the world, or it's the beginning of the world. All kinds of crazy stuff going. And with Cloudflare's new announcement, what they're saying is that AI is now going to be responsible for crawling your site and paying for it. Now, where does this come from? Well, let's talk about this in a real world way. Back in the old days of Google, Google basically made an agreement with publishers. So let's say here's all the publishers over here, and Google made an agreement saying, hey, wait a minute, here's Google up here on their high horse, right? That's a horse. There you go, right? And all these publishers and Google had the agreement of, hey, we provide good content. Google ranks it on the search engines, which gets us traffic. So they get traffic, which turns into money because I can do affiliate offers, I can do ads, I can do all kinds of things, build a mailing list, stuff like that. So the agreement was, hey, Google's going to use our content to feed to people. They're going to get big, they're going to make money with ads, but in return, we're going to get the rankings and we are going to make money. And this went on for many years. I made millions of dollars with Google rankings. I still make a lot of money with Google rankings and AI and stuff like that today, but it's a little bit different, and I'm going to show you exactly how that works. Now, what happened was along the way, AI came in and changed the game. Google said, well, wait a minute, we're going to use Google AI to crawl all your websites. So they're going to go out there, they're going to get data from the website. So if you're looking for like how to tie your shoe, it's going to go find an article on your site about how to tie a shoe. It's going to give an AI overview to the visitor. So it's like, hey, here's how to tie your shoe. Just make some loops and tie your shoe. There you go. End of story. This is known as a zero-click search. They go to Google. They see the answer on Google. They do not go to another website, thus Xing out the publisher that gave Google the info in the first place. So Cloudflare came in and they were like, wait a minute. So ChatGPT and all of these AI models were trained on the backs of publisher work. So basically they're saying, hey, thanks publishers. You did a wonderful job of making content. Here's a pat on the head and a glass of milk. Go to your room. Let the big boys make money. And that's pretty much what a lot of companies are trying to do. That's why there's so many lawsuits with ChatGPT, Perplexity, OpenAI, which is also ChatGPT, Google, and all of these. They're saying, hey, wait a minute, you're using our content to train your AI, thus making us completely irrelevant. Now, before we go any further, what do you think about this agreement and the AI kind of changing the agreement without anyone's consent? Let me know as a comment below. If it makes you angry, it probably should, because nobody asked if this was something we could do. They just came out with AI and said, hey, we are going to crawl the entire web. We're going to put it up there, and you can't do anything about it. Much like the movie industry and the music industry is saying, hey, wait a minute. You can't just use our notes and our ideas and our songs and our words in your own songs in a different way. Years ago, this is what was known as content spinning, where basically you would go out there and you would find a website, you'd find a few websites, and you'd spin content, and it would make like a crappy version of a regular content that was just good enough to pass plagiarism, but in a kind of bad way, right? It was like, okay, we're just changing some words just so it flies past plagiarism and gets ranked in the search engines. And Google, this was like a big fight for many years where Google was like, okay, there's some crappy searches. And when AI came out, this was huge. You could see the old videos on my channel where AI came out and the rise of garbage content went through the roof. I mean, half the internet is garbage content now, probably a little bit more. Now, Cloudflare came out and they're like, wait a minute. What if you were able to charge for the AI to crawl your site? So in essence, it'd be like, okay, I'm going to sell you license to my content, and without my license, you cannot use it. Okay, that's going to go into an area of, am I going to get enough money? How is it going to work? How are they going to make money? X, Y, and Z. And, the genie's already out of the bottle. It's really hard to stuff him back in. Genie is AI. And it's already done the work of crawling all the sites. So looking at this is kind of important. We're seeing a lot of changes. We're also seeing how Google AI Overviews is fueling zero-click searches. Now, I went through and I did some research on this, and we could see that According to this from Stan Ventures, SimilarWeb is saying, oh, wait a minute, 69% of Google searches end without a click. This is actually kind of misleading, so let's do a little diving. And what we're seeing here, this is analyzing the news industry. This is a big thing. You need to pay attention to this if you want to make money online with Google search and AI search. This is going to be all about it. You're going to learn everything you need to know in this video, and I'm going to give you a tool that's going to help you out. But what we need to understand is this is the news industry. So like the other day, I was looking up all of the stuff that's going on in Texas right now with the storms. Very sad. And I looked it up, and in Google, I saw the highlights of the news I wanted. I did not click the sites. I think I might have clicked one because, it had some info and some pictures and stuff, so I clicked it to see what was going on, but most of it ended in 0 clicks. So if I was like, who won the election? It's going to put that up there. I don't need to go to a website to see who won. Google's going to have that 0-click search. So what we're seeing is it's not 69% of all of Google. What we're seeing is it's 69% of those types of searches. News search, how to tie your shoe, what's the best directions to the nearest Walmart, or whatever it is. Those kind of searches are changing. Now, I will argue that those types of searches don't really lead to much money. Like those are penny a click or less, very low searches. So losing that traffic isn't that detrimental. We did this back when there was a gaming site that came out and they got pummeled in the search engines and they were saying it was the end of the world. And some of their stuff did get end of the worlded where they didn't get much traffic, but a lot of it was on traffic that wasn't really that profitable to begin with. So what we're seeing is a switch from let's rank for everything to let's rank for the most profitable stuff, which saves us time. We can use AI to do a good job, and we can make a lot of money. So looking at that and understanding where these numbers come from is key, because a lot of people are going to tell you, 69% of Google searches end in 0 click. Not true. We have to look deeper. Now, this idea of pay per crawl, this is something I'm going to show you. I actually have a plugin that I created. We're going to give you a version of this plugin free. I have an AI-enabled version, which is for my members. I'll show you where to get that as well. Obviously, we have to have that for members because I pay for the AI on that one, so can't just give it to everyone. But at any rate, you're going to see how this works, and this tool will show you which AI bots are crawling your site, and it'll actually let you go through and disable certain AI bots. So if you go to crawler control, I could go through and I could disable whichever bots I want. They're not allowed to get my content. I can even put it behind a paywall and stuff like that. But not only that, this plugin is actually going to go through and give you the details, right? It'll go through, we can click on edit, and it has this AI SEO optimizer where you could just put your title in there. It's going to analyze the content and give you an overview of how you could start ranking in AI. As time goes on, you're going to want to rank in ChatGPT, AI overviews, Perplexity. You're going to want to rank in these things because that is where a lot of the traffic is headed, and your clients are going to want to too if you're doing SEO. So let's take a look at what the primary drivers are for this switch. Super important. Now, in March 2024, Google had a major core spam update. Why did they have this? Because there was spam everywhere. I remember we did a case study on people who were searching for Safeway near me, which is a grocery store, and it came up with so many spam sites with just viruses and junk and garbage that they had to switch. I mean, there was nothing they can do. They either watch their search engine go down the tubes because they're feeding junk, or they adapt. And they adapted and they overcorrected and corrected back the other way. And this is what we see. We also see that their goal was to get a 40 to 45% reduction in spam or unoriginal content. Like they didn't want just, here's a bunch of AI stuff with no help, right? They wanted helpful, which is where they came in with the helpful content update. March 2024, they started doing this as well, where they were looking at a site as far as helpful. It didn't matter if a site was AI, it mattered if it was helpful, if it was good, if at the end of the day, the user was being helped based on the intent of why they were searching. Intent is key. If you want to make money online, intent is everything. We're going to talk about that in a minute. New targeted spam policies, looking at scaled content and domain abuse. This is where people would go in. There was a famous story of there was a restaurant website that these guys took over and spammed the bejeebers out of this site, got ranked for everything, made like 800 grand in a month, and then the domain was worthless after the month. This was a popular story of people who abused expired domains. Now, is it okay to get an expired domain and use it for what it was for? Like if I get an expired domain about, the best mattresses and I make a mattress site out of it, that's okay. But if I'm just getting it to get the juice, the SEO backlinks and stuff like that, then it's not that good. This is known as parasite SEO. We saw it done on big sites, little sites, and Google was like, hey, let's get this out of here. Now, scaled content abuse is big because what happens is AI allows us to scale unlike ever before. I mean, I can make 100,000 blog posts today with AI if I want to. Hint, I don't. Or I could make one really good one and actually do really well with it for a long-time business. This is what we have to look at and understand. Auto-generated content without having a rhyme or reason where it's just targeting a bunch of things, that's where you're going to get in trouble. Expired domain abuse, site reputation abuse. We saw this with like Reddit, Quora. We saw this with Forbes and other big sites where, more or less, they were just using the power of their site to rank for everything. So looking at this, what happened was there was a lot of sites that got hit with flags and difficult stuff, right? They basically, some of them got de-indexed completely. We're going to take a look at the data and show you what stayed, what's doing well, and what didn't. Now, here are some of the big sites that got hit with the site reputation abuse, where it was like, okay, Forbes, CNN, all of these, you can see the differences of what they had. Like usually it's a certain subdomain or a folder on a site that got hit, like Forbes.com/advisor. This is one that got hit pretty good. Let's see what this looks like here. So Forbes Advisor, you can see on this exact URL, it just basically got pummeled. And I don't know if it'll do all time, but at some point it actually had quite a bit on it. I don't know where it's at here, but look at the Google. See, look, this is interesting stuff. We're actually seeing Google AIO is picking this up like crazy. So Google's like, oh, we'll use you in the AI, but we're not going to use you in this. And that could be because they flagged it. It could be because of change in their robots.txt or something like that. But we do see a shift here. This is interesting stuff. We got to look at the data and see exactly what's going on. If we were to go through and look at like this Business Insider one, let's see if the same kind of trend, because if it's getting all of this traction in Google AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, that's kind of interesting because that's saying, hey, we do like it over here. We're just not going to give you the traffic for it. This one, not so much. But again, this is new. Here's an example. See how that just tanked? That's what we see. If you were to go and look at like organic keywords, you're going to see here they had at the peak like 500,000 keywords and then boom, down to nothing. And now they're down to nothing. I'm guessing, yeah, AI will probably pick it up because it's a different algorithm, which is interesting. It's kind of like, okay, maybe you can rank on it with different things like that. Now, again, don't hear what I'm not saying. Don't do parasite SEO. Don't do scaled content. Make good content. That's what this is about. That's what the plugin's about. And that's where we're going to see this going. Now, here's a list of some sites that got issues with the scaled content abuse, the core updates, and things like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a list of these, and we're going to look at the data and see what's going on. I have a list over here of a bunch of sites, and these are sites that were monitored. A lot of people were monitoring these through the different Google changes because we're talking trillions of dollars at stake here. Like Google SEO is a gigantic business. I've made more money than I ever thought possible on this. Now, again, I've made over $10 million with SEO stuff, but the results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. The vast majority of people make nothing. Well, I've made a lot. I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing. We have to understand what's going on. Like if we look here, this is a popular recipe site. We could take a look at how they're doing. Was there any changes? Was there any differences? Well, we see that they are picking back up quite a bit of traffic. So what I did is I actually went through and I made a giant list here of all the different sites that were tracked and looking at, okay, here's one. Let's see what it looks like in Ahrefs, and let's also see what it looks like in SimilarWeb. We see, while it did get hit in the 2020, looks like 2023-ish, 2022-ish, we do see it bouncing back. They gained over half, or they got over half back or something like that, over half more, however you want to say that. And then let's take a look at SimilarWeb, because this will show us the traffic, which a lot of times you're going to see a correlation here. This is saying about 9,800 visitors a month, where this is saying they're getting like 100,000 a month. Okay, so there's a discrepancy there. Ahrefs is great. It's not the be-all, end-all. It's just a tool. So looking at this here, we can see, yeah, okay, their traffic is on the uptick. Let's take a look at a couple others here. Let's say we have this one here, the Spruce. This is a very, very popular content type site. And let's see how this one looks. This one, okay, so this one actually lost some rankings. But again, look at what they picked up in Google AI. A lot in Perplexity, a lot over here. Now, again, these tools are brand new, so that could be why. But again, looking at like, okay, what is the nature of the words? If I go here and I do a comparison, what did they lose in the last 6 months? This is what I want to know. Like, what kind of words did they lose? So like snake plant. All right, were they going to get traffic anyway? You go to Google, you look up snake plant, you see a picture of the snake plant, or you buy it. This is more or less like a zero-click search if people are looking to identify it. If they're looking to buy it, then obviously that would be a click to buy. But a lot of these, like water heater repair, okay, that's going to be a near me search. Now, was that detrimental? Like, would it be detrimental if they lost that? Probably. That's a big word. That's got a lot of money tied to it. A lot of water heater people in our area will pay a lot of money, right? All these sponsored ones. Let's see if the Spruce is still here. Not seeing it. So they did, in fact, lose it. Quora, YouTube, these are here. So you got to look at that and understand, okay, this is how this stuff's working. Is this a zero-click search? No. This is probably 80% of the clicks go to the ads, which is a lot of money. If you were able to rank for it, that would be a lot of money. Let's take a look at a couple others here. Let's say we have this recipe guy here. Okay, how's this one looking? Only lost about 10% from the peak. I mean, a lot of people lost from there. But looking at the peak there, he's at about half traffic. He still gets 1 million a month. I mean, that's hardly enough to say, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. This is what we want to look at. Let's compare this again with 6 months, see what comes up, and look at, is this traffic really that profitable? If I rank for shrimp tacos, am I going to make that much money? Well, I think that's where a lot of bloggers have just gone the way of let's rank for anything and everything instead of like, I'd rather have one really, really solid, good post about like how I cook a specific dish and then lead them to like cooking knives or pans or something like that in a specific way, rather than let's have 1 million recipes mediocre that aren't going to do that good. This is the key. Going forward, you want really good content, and you can use AI to make it. Then make an infographic about it, make a video about it, stuff like that. So what they don't want with Google's updates is scaled content. Are you just making a bunch of recipe ones like those, or are you making really good ones on stuff you know about or have tried? Just yesterday, I made all kinds of Greek seafood. I could make one about Greek seafood because I actually tried it and I have experience. That's something that's going to stand aside in AI. Like maybe you have a certain vacuum and you have experience with it, whereas other people might not know or have experience with it. Thin or unoriginal content, are you just copying? Are you just using AI to reword things? Or are you making it specific? Notice how I went through and I get specific results. Like, what do you mean by the 69%? How does that work? Using deep research, using different ideas, different topics to help people in a different way. Even stuff like this. Here's a list of sites that have had issues and things like that, and now we're going through and making it work. Low value affiliate models, are you just making junk content to do affiliate links. This was known as splash page, where you just have a page designed to get them to the affiliate offer. Also going through parasite SEO, expired aggressive monetization. This is one we saw big, where like you see the ads on top, the ads on the side, the ads on the bottom, and you really can't get away with anything other than I have to click an ad. That's not really fixing the problem, right? That's going through and manipulating your way to getting people to click ads, which nobody's happy. The advertiser's not happy, so he's going to stop paying. The search engine isn't happy because the people aren't getting what they look for and they're getting a bad experience. So going through and looking at that is bad. Now, when we go through, again, there's like flags of backlinks and things like that. But when we go through and look at what's going on, what do we want to do? EAT. That is the experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. And this is what we really need, whether it's on one piece of content, which it can be, or a million, right? Like a lot of people are trying to get EAT on weight loss. No pun intended. EAT is not like eating. It's this. When we look at that, it's like, okay, instead of trying to be the expert on weight loss, what if you were the expert in like doing a certain type of sit-ups? Or today at the gym, I did Roman lifts. And what if I was an expert on that instead of all this other stuff? Years ago, I had a client who we got him a site and built him up for chair workouts for seniors. That's a lot easier to be an expert in than like workouts, right? Being specific and being the expert in one thing is very, very, very key. So looking at that, how can I be the expert in one thing? And one piece of content could make you a lot of money. This is what people don't get, is when you go out there and you look at stuff like this, there's probably one in here like air fryer. Okay, that one could make more money than other stuff if they don't have an air fryer and you can sell it. Right? Like if I could do like best air fryer or something like that, I'll bet if you were to go through, let's do keyword best, and see like, okay, what's the best air fryer or something like that, you can go through and see, okay, that's where the money's going to be. Like best air fryer, that's potatoes, but I would do like best air fryer or something like that. When you look at that, like let's say we go best air fryer, watch what happens here. It's easier to be an expert on air fryers than all recipes in the entire world. If I was to go here and do best air fryer, let's say this. Okay, this is a guy, I would say some kind of woodworking for him. Interesting. Let's try, see if there's like some kind of blog or something. And I want to show you what this looks like. So CNET, okay? It's a big, giant site, but I kind of want to show you how does this work? Like what would it mean if you were an expert just on this? Because you could probably do better than CNET, because all you would have to do is just make your life about these air fryers or something like that. Let's do, okay, that's best air fryer recipes. We want best air fryer. Let's see here. I'll just go best air fryer. Like this here. Let's say we'll just do ratings. Our rating, I think that's what that is. And so going through here, we want to look at like, what is this worth to this business? Well, if we look at just this page, this is worth, if you're valuing it at 30 cents a click, which I think if you're doing air fryers, you might be able to get more. And yes, they're doing good in all these other ones too. They're valuing it at $3,200 a month just for that one post about air fryers. So would you rather like try to do everything or just do one really good with the help of AI? That's what this is about. Now, recovery and future proofing, okay, we're seeing what types of words are changing. Well, these mass-produced things are not doing so well, but we can do one thing really well, and if it doesn't rank right away, we're going to use other tactics to get it to rank. And as you go through, you can go and analyze the content for AI tips, for queries, like what kind of questions do they have. And we're going to get into this in a minute, like how do you rank in the AI? We'll show you. It'll evaluate your EAT, it'll evaluate the schema, everything. It's going to go through and look at that, and again, show you where the traffic's coming from. So to future-proof, what we want to do is look at, okay, can we prune junk content? We've seen people that have gotten obliterated, like literally overnight, their stuff's gone. Right? Like this guy here, boom, gone overnight. This one stood the test of time. Again, looking at what words went away, email marketing, best blog platform. These ones went down or moved, But we have to look at why. Was that, okay, best blogging platform, does this come up with AI? It does not. So the fact that he's still ranking, so there's AI down here below these. I like that. That's good. Good job, Google. Thank you for that. But going through here and seeing, okay, this is where they rank. It is still doing okay. They did lose some of their traffic on that ranking, and we are seeing that it did kind of change. But again, take it with a grain of salt. How much can I make on each post? How can I do it really good? And it looks like if you were to do the last year, they're down about a fourth or a third or something like that. Let's see what they're like over last couple of years. They're down quite a bit. But I would venture to say their big money words are probably still there. Okay, so looking at that is key. Doing one thing really good. Look at that. Like if I was going to lose traffic, I'd go through the ones that were doing well, and I'd build them up using that plugin, using the tool, finding different ways to get traffic, because you created that content. You can go out there and use it for something else, a YouTube video, a infographic, a Facebook post, a helpful thing, a cheat sheet, a guide, or whatever. Very, very strategic. So to future-proof, what you want to do is traffic diversification. All right. This not only is going to get you traffic now because you got all that content, or if you're making new content, you'll be able to diversify it. It's not only going to help you now in the short term to get traffic, but it's also going to help in the long term, because when you diversify, Google's going to be like, wait a minute, we better pay attention to this guy. Much like they do when they're showing YouTube and Reddit and things like that. They couldn't help but pay attention. Now, one of the biggest opportunities that's going to happen here, businesses, bloggers, and influencers are going to need help. They're going to need help showing up in AI SEO and regular SEO, and they will pay a fortune. That's why I said in the beginning, I paid that guy, that SEO guru, $10,000. Why? I wanted my rankings back. It cost me money, so I needed to get those back. So going there, we want to go through, and whether we're helping other people or doing it for our stuff, we want to create genuinely helpful people-first content. Is it for people? Like, is someone going to read this, or are we just making it for an algorithm? AI is going to be smart. It's going to be able to look at that. Provide original insights. Take it different. Okay, best air fryer recipe for low carb. Best air fryer recipe if you can't have oil, for gluten-free people, or whatever it is. Demonstrate expertise, authority, experience, trustworthiness. Focus on a niche. I'm not talking weight loss. I'm talking chair workouts. Okay, very important. Also, to show up in AI, make your content machine readable. That's where this plugin comes in. It's going to go through, and it's going to be like, oh, based on your content, here's the questions people would ask. Boom, put this in your content. It'll help you get listed for those questions. Because what AI is going to do is they're going to look for answers for the question. Okay, when I get this error, what happens next? Should I do this? Should I do that? Does it mean I have a virus or whatever? Looking at that, you want to think about how you can help people, and this is going to help you go the extra mile. A lot of people are using AI just to make content, just to have content. We don't want to do that. We want to make content with a specific purpose. If I'm going to make a site about computer errors, it'd be best to make them about ones that might damage a hard drive so that I can help people get new hard drives or backup data or things that pay me a lot of money, rather than just going for a bunch of junk and things like that. We want to focus. This is super, super important, because one blog post can make a living. There are people that have one post. I've had one post that have made me more money than I ever thought possible. But it was only by really focusing on what do they want, why are they here, how do I get them into stuff. It wasn't, let's just slap ads on it and hope it works. It's with a specific focus, direct. Now, when you're going through to make your content machine readable, you want to go through and use structured schema data. That's why we have this in the tool. That's why we have the tracker. That's why we have, like, how long are people on your site, different things like that. Use question-based headings, what if this happens? Like, okay, I need workouts for when I'm tired in the morning. Okay, we'll do this, that, right? Stuff that thinks ahead. If you can think ahead of what people want. My entire career was made on thinking ahead. If someone searches for this, what do they ultimately want? How can I help them? How can I give them steps, options, ideas? Rather than just giving them the template boilerplate, you can get the answer everywhere, we want something very, very specific. Thinking different about what could this content do? How would AI pick it up? What does this look like? If I was to go through with Gemini, go through here and say, what is the best way to refinance if I have bad credit, right? So refinance bad credit. You would look at it and you'd be like, okay, when you're looking at Google, we go through, and if you guys want notes from all these sites and everything, I have those over at downloadmynotes.com. But if I do like refinance bad credit, that would be more or less what someone would type in. Refinance bad credit. Okay, do they want a car? Do they want a mortgage? Do they want this? Do they want the house? All of this. This is standard SEO. AI SEO is, well, what are they thinking? Let's see how it comes up. And I'll never forget, there was this one guy who was an SEO guru back in the day, and he said to figure out what Google wants, just look at their homepage. And that's the best advice ever. What's the what do they want for best blog platform? Well, they want blog sites, Reddit. They want videos, clearly, because there's a video here. Do they want images? What do they want? And the homepage will tell you. Super important. Same with AI. The page will tell you. Know your credit score, dispute inaccuracies, blah, 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 blah. Going through looking at this, okay, FHA, VA. This is what tells it you know what you're talking about, right? Because if you go out there and you're just like, best way to refinance is to click my affiliate link. Yeah, not going to work. But if we go through and we're like, oh, FHA, VA, streamlined, all of this, this will work. Now, make a guide based on credit scores and the best options. House, car, ECT. Right for a machine type way. Right? So it's like, boom, make it machine type way. Let's see what it comes up with. And this is where you want to get in with AI and really think about, like, I'm having a conversation with it, making it easy. Now you have all this stuff, typical rates, secondary option. So it wrote pretty good. This could be your schema of how it works. Now I can make good content about this. But most people are like, just make a blog post on how to refinance with bad credit because I just want the keyword. No. Let's make it good. I want to have the best damn guide on how to refinance with bad credit out there. I want to do the best possible ever, regardless. Now, keep the same schema and make it a great, helpful post. Let's see. And it'll come up and it'll start making good ones. And then we're going to go through and understand this. Some other things you can do is write in a clear, summarizable format. We saw this with featured snippets where it's like, oh, if you have a list, that'll show in the snippet. Oh, if you have this block of content as a definition, it'll show up in there. Same thing with AI. It's going to be the same thing as featured snippets. It's just using AI. It'll have multiple sources instead of one source. If you can have your source to where there's something else, like, oh, there's other tips available too, check out this. Then it'll include that and you'll get the click, thus making it not a zero-click search. So having more, being better, giving more info, showing people that, like, what you see in a Google AI snippet is not the best, right? Like, I've seen stuff where it's like, it tells you to cook something and I'm like, I know how to cook, and that's the wrong way to cook it. We need to do it the right way, or whatever, right? Sometimes it's bad advice. Sometimes it's terrible. Sometimes it's way terrible. But starting to look at this and say, well, how do I show up there and help people, but also get them to other stuff, right? Like, oh, maybe here's how to get the best rate, or here's how to negotiate, or whatever it is. And looking at the data, because people are going to tell you, oh, all this is going down the tubes. The traffic is not. Like, the traffic is still there. It's not going anywhere. However, businesses are going to have struggles. And if we can help people, like, all you would have to do is go out there, find businesses that had ranking drops, hook up with them and be like, hey, you know what, I'll help you get your rankings, and you can charge them. A great side hustle. Or if it's your own site, go through and do that. Now, for me, I like to do affiliate sites. I've made thousands of affiliate sites over the years. Worked really well. We work with a lot of people today. And I have a lot of data from a lot of sites that get results, some that don't, some that do really well, some that struggle, some that people don't do much with. And I have a lot of data points that work really well. And that's what we want. We want to look at all data. When all these changes happen, like Cloudflare, okay, that's cute in theory. How are they going to implement it? And is any money going to come to us as a blog owner? Like, is Google even going to want our content or these other, are they going to pay for it? We don't know. We saw this shift with news, where news sites, I mean, you can't even read the news now without a paywall. It's like, oh, pay $70 a year for access to New York Times. I'm like, I don't want to. I just want to read the article. But thank you for, clickbaiting me. And that's what we look at is like, okay, all of these things are switching and changing. Where do we go? And when everyone else zigs, we want to zag. Everyone else is going to go and create more content, more junk, and more garbage. I'm going to create specific stuff, good stuff. I'm going to create things that'll show up in AI. And looking at that, will earn you high-quality backlinks and citations. It'll pursue brand mentions. Like if you can get through and be like, oh, let's go to the affiliate marketing dude, or hey, downloadmynotes.com is the place to go to get all this stuff. Then we start to realize how this works. And it's not that hard. You just need to think different and test. Use your keyword tools to test. If I put this out there, do I rank? What happens? Can I get this traffic? Do people come in? Much like we did with the explainer video production site that I got a couple months ago. And you guys can see it's getting traffic now. We're building it up. It's working well. I think we got 38, apparently we got 38 yesterday and 38 so far today. But it is getting traffic and it's doing pretty good. And we could see what it ranks for and everything like that and track kind of what's working. And like this, animation budgeting, okay, that could be a good one. And you can actually see where the traffic's coming from. And sometimes you can see like ChatGPT in here and different things like that. And that's where you're going to see all of the changes and different things like that. And that's why a lot of the tools that we create at AI Profit Scoop are so important. And using those is key. And looking at it and saying, okay, how do we monitor things? How do we look at what's ranking and where? How do we see where our visitors are coming from and what they're doing? This is what you want to do. And then when you do that, use your content everywhere. Like if I make this video, I can make a checklist about how to rank in AI SEO, post it on Facebook, post it as a short video, post it on a different channel, whatever it is. Now, if you want the basic version of the plugin that I made here, what it does is it takes you through the AI SEO strategy, shows you when the AIs are crawling, allows you to control them. It'll also put on the posts and pages. It has the little AI summary thing. Now, the basic version doesn't have this because this ties into my API and everything like that, which obviously it costs money. So I ask that you join AI Profit Scoop if you want to use it. Pretty cool. But going through there, we can look at it and be like, okay, this is starting to make a lot of sense. And okay, how do I get the schema? How do I get this created to where it's actually going to help people? And how do I understand the term and what people want? That's the key. No matter what, if you understand that term, you understand what people want, and you go for words that are beyond the AI overview, like can I do just one and done AI overview if I'm looking for something specific? Sometimes no. Like what's the best web host? Okay, that might have what is the best web host. This might have an AI overview, but is it actually going to do the job? Well, no, this is just showing breakdowns. It's not for the reason. I would want like, okay, are you hosting videos? Are you hosting this, that, or the other? And it looks like most of this is coming from, let's see, Reddit, Cyber News, Bluehost, Reddit. Lots coming from Reddit. So how can I do better? Because again, thinking about this, looking at CNET here, watch, I mean, this thing is a beast. Like if you had this ranking, you would probably make a living. Now, the ranking's a lot harder to get than you might think, but it's worth $154K a month, and that's at an average of $3 a click. Right now in hosting, that's about what I'm seeing, $3 to $8 a click, depending on the traffic and how you get them in. But I mean, think about it. If I just was like, I'm just going to be the best person for best web hosting ever, that's all I'm going to do, there's some money there. And understanding, diversify the traffic, make it work. Focus on the simple, straightforward, get them the answer. Not like, oh, hey, here's a one answer and done. Focus on things where they're going to go through a process. And use AI to go through the process, share the process with them, make a tool, make a infographic, make a video, make it really, really count. Act like you actually want to make money and build it out. That doesn't say you can't use AI. It says serve your customer. If you want a list of all the sites we went through, check out downloadmynotes.com. I'll have that list of all the sites. We actually went through quite a few to show you, okay, what's going on. Here's some flooring one. Where'd the flooring one go? Right? See what that looks like. What are they ranking for? Flooring is a big, big business. Did they have an issue? They did. They went from 25,000 keywords down to like not many. So that was a difficult day for them. But again, what types of keywords did they lose? Understanding, okay, maybe they lost this. So repost gray versus agreeable gray. Was someone actually going to read a big content and buy something? Probably not. You're not going to sell like agreeable gray unless you're selling paint, which that's going to go to bear. However, before and after whitewash hardwood floors, that stayed. Why? It's a more detailed answer. So looking at these and understanding, okay, best vacuum, yeah, that's something we can use. Or this here, okay, how to seal your floors. So looking at that is key. And if you were to go through and do like compare with the previous 5 years, you can see again, like best place to buy wood floor. Okay, why did they lose it and who stayed? Okay, well, local stayed, Floor and Decor, Reddit, flooring, Home Depot. So it went to more or less like the big stores. Why? The nature of this word is best place to buy. It's not looking for info. It's looking for the best place to buy. Now, could you make a tool with AI that shows, hey, I want laminate. Okay, here's the best place to buy it. You could. So starting to look at this and think about it different is absolutely key. And understanding where you're going from here will get rankings back, and it will help you when you go to rank and get traffic. A lot of our clients, they build sites and they're trying to get traffic with Google, and you have to understand these things. It's not about just having the keyword and how many times the keyword is and competition. It's about understanding the intent. That's everything. Check out the videos in the description to learn more about how I rank things, how I look at content, how I make money, and the whole 9 yards. Go to downloadmynotes.com for the notes from this video, some other cool stuff, and a copy of the basic plugin that you can use and start understanding AI SEO, as well as an AI SEO checklist. Check out the videos in the description, smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.